Naptown, the city that always sleeps. Most people think nothing happens in this town that is halfway between nothing and nowhere, but they would be wrong. There's plenty that goes on in this town for those willing to look. The crew has finally taken down Herman and by extension the Tree Gang. Things are more at peace in the city, but the crew seems to be all heading in different directions. Will they be able to handle these changes, or are cracks beginning to form between the members of the Order's best crew and the city that always sleeps? So last time you guys wrapped up the case, you guys stopped Herman, took him back to the mystical grove, and had him depowered very quickly, and wrapped up all of that. So it is the following day, and Tanner, you said you wanted to be waiting by the old tree?
Yes.
I'm assuming this is evening and not just in the middle of the day. Well, I mean, I guess it could be the middle of the day.
Yeah, I mean, it can be evening. That's fine.
That's when the gang activity has been taking place, so everyone else has a day job.
Then yes.
In the early evening, you see the group, or a group of people come into the forest clearing chatting about their job. When they see you, they're just like, hello?
Hi, how are all of you? My name is Tanner.
Oh, not this guy again.
Yeah, it's this guy again.
I'm out, and you just see the guy that you saw before just turn around and walk away.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill just turns around and walks away.
Well, I mean, Bill, you're very welcome to quit, but I guess it's fair warning. So I told you, right? I told you if you continued to operate in the way that you were, I would have to get involved. Well, the good news is I got involved, and oh boy, hang on. Give it a second. It's gonna hit me.
Herman,
Thank you. Voice from the nether in my own mind. Herman, well, he's still alive, but he's lacking all of his powers and is rotting in a jail cell, I think. But the good news is that means that there is now a new and highly competitive opportunity for future employment.
I'm taking it's with you.
Yeah, it's with me. Because you guys basically have a choice. You can either shrink back to your lives and forget that you ever had powers or were trying to do something noble with them, or you can start being more intelligently directed in those goals.
Do we still get paid?
Oh yeah, you're gonna get paid a lot more. We're gonna get paid. We are gonna get paid so much more.
Make me a roll.
A bluff roll.
No, I don't think...
I'm being fully serious.
Yeah, no, make me a convince roll. You can add +1 for saying they're gonna get rich, and then whatever else you want to apply.
Well, calm authority for sure, but it would be nice if my character sheet was here. Hang on. Can I use Brawl like a Norse god because I'm being, braggadocious? You can say no to that one.
That one's a no.
Okay.
It's a no for me, dog.
That's fine. It's a 12.
Okay. So, at this, even Bill turns around.
Yeah, see, I figured you'd be interested in that. So here's the good news, right? We need to start dividing some lines between strictly legal and morally reprehensible. Nothing that we're going to be doing is legal. I'm fine with that. But the people that you all had a complaint with, the Muellers, do actually need to be stopped. On that, we see eye to eye, so I say, let's go for the business, guys. You're all a bunch of tough ragamuffin-y types. You seem like you know your way around not getting killed. I hope you have some fast cars, and if you don't, you got wings. We're getting into bootlegging, friends. And we're gonna step on the toes of the Muellers until they see fit to crawl out from whatever rock they are hiding under and make it our problem. But at least this way it'll be on our terms.
So they look around and nod and be like, alright, where to, boss?
Great, so here's the first thing. We need clients, and we need supply, right? So, if any of you have any connections to corn farmers, That's step 1. And step 2 is if any of you work in bars, now's the time to mention it. Because we're going to put those two together on the backs of your winged creatures. That's the idea.
You know we're people, not animals, right? Like, we just have wings?
Oh, okay. I didn't mean creature in, like, a dismissive or insulting way.
Okay.
But, I mean, you are kind of terrifying. It's fine. We can go more low-key on the magic also, but, you know, hopefully we'll just stick with fast cars and that'll be good enough.
I'd like to put in a complaint to HR.
Great. I'll get you in contact with Runa. She always tells the truth. And she really likes friends.
Is Runa not with you?
I don't think she would
No, probably not.
I don't think so.
Not to go and tell our enemies that I'm their new boss.
Jokes aside, though, they do agree to your plan, and you start getting through the delegation of work and that kind of thing, and figuring out how to set up your new network to your gang.
Great. Good job, guys.
Are you making their name officially the Tree Gang?
Yeah, we're the Tree Gang, by the way. If you guys had a name, that name died with the terrible old man that was having you get in shootouts in the middle of the street. We're now the Tree Gang, newly rebranded Tree Gang.
I mean, he called us the Old Gods, which sound pretty cool, but I guess Tree Gang works.
No, Tree Gang now. Old Gods was lame. I'm not old. Well, I'm not that old anyways. I'm younger than him, that's my point.
All right. So, Tanner has a new gang. What are the rest of you up to?
I can go next. I am wanting to level up my Whisper in Your Ear skill, which is probably my most underutilized skill ever.
Why don't you ASMR that? Your Whisper in Your Ear.
No thanks. But after, like, doing all of these progressively, how do I say this? Like, the more missions she goes on with the Order where she's, like, responsible in getting things done and, like, stretching her power more and more, I think the more she feels, like, stifled in her mundane life. And so Faye starts to use her subversion power with her family, which she previously had just kind of not done. Like, it was just like, oh, these things don't mix. I shouldn't mix them. So, like, when her parents start, like, hinting towards, like, why she's not married yet, she just, like, starts subtly putting pressure back on them, like, that doesn't need to be a concern. Making them focus on other things.
It is amusing to me that the first time in Faye's life where she's had a stable romantic relationship is when she starts being like, no, not marriage.
No, it's just that, like, she wants any relationship to be on her own terms and not have influences from the rest of her family. So there's that. And then she starts...
Right, because I imagine, like, with things going well with you, and after you went on, like, 2 dates with him, which was probably a record, or
right.
not a record, but, like, a record.
I get it.
A record for in a very long while. Like, the first time in a long while that had happened, I feel like your mom was, like, starting to draft wedding cards. Like, oh, what...
Right, yeah, and she's like, no, I get to determine how this relationship is going to go. And then in addition, at her job, she's going to be influencing Art to give her more public roles. Like, previously she had been, like, kind of in the background, and now...she's taking progressively more and more front-facing roles in the company.
So is Faye prosecuting then, or is she just being more front-facing? I don't know what lawyers do.
I don't know enough about the ins and outs of how cases work, but I think, yes, she's spending more time in the courtroom working towards, like, prosecuting, like, being the one standing up and speaking.
Well, she probably wouldn't be prosecuting, she'd be defending, but semantics.
Sure, yeah. Whatever lawyers do, I'm clearly a lawyer.
I do the lawyer stuffs.
Caitlin, attorney.
So it's supposed to be attorney at law?
Attorney at RPG. That's what I do.
No, you went Caitlin, attorney.
I know.
Attorney at RPG.
That was the joke. I'm just attorney.
So her new title is now Caitlin the Soul Crusher Balgaman Esquire.
Right.
The first.
The first.
First attorney. All right, that's all.
So Faye's life has gotten easier and more complicated. Using magic powers on your family seems like a line.
Yep, it is.
And I'm not saying it.
This seems like a line. Well,
Yep, she's aware.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It just is more complicated now.
Yeah,
And that probably has happened over the past couple
that's like
of
a
weeks.
longer term thing.
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. I think you first started doing it like at a dinner like the next weekend with your family.
Sure. Yeah,
And it's been more ongoing that you've been doing this more. And I don't think you've done anything drastic, but just enough that you have less pressure in these ways that you were feeling before.
yeah.
Darling, how are you?
Okay. So I'm going to swap and do my 2-person scene first, because I think that makes more sense with what I want to get done during this episode. So I think that Darling is sitting at her kitchen table, with coffee, and she's flipping through a newspaper, circling,
Runa gets really excited when you pull out some coffee. Have a cup of coffee.
She's not there. She doesn't live there.
she is not here.
She's the
I know,
mystical joke.
I was just making the joke.
She is flipping through the newspaper and circling different properties that are available. And I think at some point Tanner probably comes in.
sure. So Tanner it would probably what time of day do you think it would be?
It's probably pretty early in the morning because she's still been working a lot.
Okay, so this would be like Tanner is just now getting home and he's been like gone all night, and Tanner walks in and he's like positively giddy.
Meanwhile, Darling, like, big sigh. I'm really glad you're finally home. I've been meaning to talk to you about this. I found another apartment that's actually a little closer to my work and lets me downsize a bit. But I think we'd be able to keep, I'd be able to keep us going for a little bit longer on that, if that's something you're interested in.
Well, moving closer, yeah, that might be a great idea, but darling, look, we need to talk about something. I'm sorry, I've been awake all night, with the Tree Gang. They're called the Tree Gang now.
What are you doing with the Tree Gang?
Well, okay, so I had this thought, right? Alright, so the private investigation business, both mundane and magical, that was a bust in every way that matters.
I mean, it kind of was, yeah.
And it seems as if maybe we're in dire straits pertaining to the finances, right?
Darling, like, shakes the newspaper, as in, like, yep.
And also, the thing is, just doing my job, I'm already getting run in by the police semi-frequently at this point, right?
I wasn't aware the police were coming after you, but okay.
So what I'm saying is, why don't I just go whole hog here and just straight get into crime?
What kind of crime?
Well, darling, we got this issue with the Muellers, and the thing is, I'm kind of tired of waiting for them to do something, and then us having to go and stop them. I will say, in that way, oh gosh, why are there so many H names? Herman! Gosh, not Harold! Herman was right. So, my thought is, why don't I just start bootlegging? I mean, I need to step on their toes somehow to get them to notice that we exist. And, I feel like I might already have my first customer. Darling.
Darling takes a sip of her coffee and looks very thoughtful.
Now, I know that's a shift, right, from being an ex-police detective. I get it. But the thing is, that's not gonna work out for me anymore. And, I have a fast car and a can-do attitude, and I already don't sleep. So, why not? What's the worst that can happen? It's not like I'm gonna lose money.
Well, and we've already been doing illegal things thanks to the order anyway.
Yeah, I've been doing fully illegal things.
I mean, I basically work for an illegal speakeasy.
Right. Yeah, it feels like a match made in heaven. You can tell them, hey, look, cheaper alcohol that doesn't come with the strings of a guy that tries to control your brain. I give you a 100% no mind control guarantee, which the Muellers cannot do.
I'm pretty sure that the mundane people I work for won't recognize that it was mind control, so we can work out the schematics and all that on exactly how to present this, but I think not a bad idea.
Right? I'm feeling good about it. So is the Tree Gang, because I think they maybe crave leadership.
Is that actually what they're called, or are you just sticking with that?
You know, they had some other name, but we're going with the Tree Gang.
All right, well, I'm thinking we can work out the details later. And Darling stands up and grabs his collar. But for now, I think we should go celebrate.
I agree.
Fade to black.
No, we need to get more viewers. You need to explicitly describe what happens next.
And they don't leave the house.
All right, Darling tears off his shirt.
Yes.
Tanner's like, that was my only shirt.
Kills the mood completely.
That was shirt.
It's kind of like that How I Met Your Mother when it's like, I must have you. No, that's my laptop! Oh, no. As he shoves everything off the desk. Also, for reference, when I forget this, you guys now have access to the tree in the middle of the forest, which Tanner knows how to use to teleport you guys across the city.
Ooh.
Use that as you see fit.
Nice. I feel like that's going to come in handy in several months when we come back to this.
I have no idea, but Tanner is running the tree gang. I figured one of the first orders of business would have been him figuring out how to use the tree in the titular tree gang.
How do you kids use this dang thing?
Newfangled technology, despite the fact that it's the oldest tree in the forest.
Right.
There's definitely Bill was in the back where Tanner's like, I'm not as old as him. Now how does this work? And then Bill's like, it's not as smart as him either, apparently. You and Bill have a good rapport going now where he's like your sassy henchman.
That's the very quickest way to become my dead henchman.
So, Seamus, you were telling me about how you're having a crisis of faith.
Yes, so Seamus is not sure of his place in the Order. He's starting to doubt the methods the Order uses to accomplish their mission, and is trying to find an answer for that.
So, Seamus, in your attempts to find a place in this world, you've thought long and hard about things, and you don't necessarily like how the Order is not accountable all the time. So you were looking for more structure, and the person that came to your mind was Detective Day, who you guys have had a few interactions with, who used to be Tanner's old partner. So you set up a meeting with her, and you wanted to try to suss out if there was a way that you could be going about this better. So you are in the bullpen. I think that's what it's called. I know cop stuff.
Oh, is that like the cop bar?
No.
What is that?
A bullpen is like an open office area.
I'm sorry.
Oh, really? I've never heard that term before.
Really?
No, I've never heard that.
Have you watched a cop show?
I thought we all watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
No, never.
Yeah, that's a bullpen. Yeah.
Okay, I've never watched a cop show.
Oh, okay.
My bad, you guys.
No, it's totally fine. I remember Zach and Caitlin and us talking about Brooklyn Nine-Nine when
I've never
the boys were
watched Brooklyn
first
Nine-Nine.
born, and I was like, did you not watch the show?
No.
We should get on it, because it's great.
I've seen clips, but never actually watched it.
Anyway, you're in the bullpen, which is where the detective desks are. It's an open office area. It looks like for a normal meeting, like you just scheduled. She doesn't know what it's about because you're trying to be a little bit coy because, you can't just be like, there's magic, and have people believe you, but
Yeah.
you're kind of like trying to figure out where to go. So, Seamus, was it you wanted to talk? You said you were a friend of Tanner's?
Yeah, I've known him for a while and been working with him. I'm looking for new employment's not the right word. I'm looking for something meaningful to occupy my time, and I was wondering if you had any unexplained cases or something that the police just don't know how to approach that I could look at.
Well, Seamus, now it seems like you're asking for info. Did Tanner set you up for this? This seems like one of his ploys.
Oh, absolutely not. He has no idea I'm here.
Well, that would explain the lack of coffee on my desk then. She, looks around. Why don't you follow me to the back real quick? She leads you down a few passageways to somewhere that's a little bit more secluded, so she doesn't have to be, saying this. Are you saying you see weird stuff that you might classify as quote-unquote magic?
Are you saying that you see things that you classify as quote-unquote magic?
I mean, I'm not saying that. I asked if you did, but I'm also not saying I'm not saying that, because I may have seen some winged people flying downtown last week attacking bootlegging trucks, and everyone else said they were just big birds. And one, birds aren't that big, and two, there were people attached to the wings. But I'm not saying that, because that sounds crazy.
Yeah, I would agree, but I understand.
Okay, well, if that's the case, I am currently trying to put together a task force in the police department that deals with these weird, unexplained things. We have a lot of unsolvable cases, as you might guess, if there's weird things happening that don't have a normal explanation. And if you're telling me that you can see these things, I would be happy to offer you a place on this task force. Obviously, you'd be a junior member since you haven't, gone through police training, but we can fix that if you wanted to work for the police force.
Yeah, I think I'd be interested in that.
All right. I will send you home with some paperwork. Here's your I-9 and your... And the box that says social security number, don't worry about that. That hasn't been invented yet, so just cross that out. So she sets you up with working in the police force. You are... she says she'll contact you once something more concrete is going on, because she's trying to find other people in the police force that have these powers. Because right now she's the only person she knows of that can really do that. But she'll be meeting with, so after a couple weeks, she eventually gets you set up with a group of a few other people where you guys start working on going through.
And I imagine that I might have also been able to help her with my Rift Radar.
Yes. You are still considered you're a full detective, but you're kind of
I think it's a consultant.
So Tanner, it was Detective Tanner, no longer detective. It was just Seamus. Now it's Detective Seamus.
I mean, that's the role of what you're doing. You're not a beat cop, so you are a detective kind of thing. You're a detective task force. But so you got a group together. You are the junior member of the team, so you are very helpful to the group. In many ways, you help out with the group and they treat you as a full member, but you're also the person who does run and get coffee a lot.
Yeah. So here's another question, and I mean, I don't need to ask this to Day herself, but this is this is my job now, right?
Yes, this is your job.
Okay. Then I obviously will have quit my other job.
Yeah, I figured since it wasn't one of your themes, you wouldn't care. She offered you a new job, and I figured that gives you more structure in your life. You, with recommendations from, a personal recommendation from Tanner, and a professional recommendation from your old company, she's happy enough to hire you. Your background check passes.
How does Tanner react to me working for the police? I'm guessing he doesn't tell me about his new venture.
That is for Tanner to decide.
Yeah, exactly.
But in my mind, it'd be funny with the thing where it's you meet up with him for your weekly boxing match, and you're like, Tanner, I have something to tell you. Tanner's like, real quick, I'm the leader of the tree gang. We're bootlegging now, and you're just like, okay. Anyway, how does Tanner actually react instead of my fanfic?
I mean, do you want to, do that scene?
Sure.
So you guys would probably be meeting at your, weekly meetup.
Okay.
Or...
Go for it.
However often you guys meet to practice fighting.
To work out and to spar and to whatever. So, Tanner, how have things been going for you?
Great. Really good. I recruited the tree gang. We're gonna start bootlegging to step on the Mueller's heels. Or toes, not their heels, whatever, you know what I mean. I haven't been sleeping a lot lately. Anyways, Muellers, we're stealing all of their business.
That sounds like an interesting idea there. Get them to come out on our own terms.
Yeah, that's my thought. That's exactly right. So how have you been?
Well, this might be an interesting dynamic, but I'm sure we'll navigate this. But I have a prospective job. I I might be working for the police here soon.
Oh, well, I mean, that's fine. Are you specifically working on an anti-bootlegging task force?
No, nothing like that.
Well, then we're good.
They're actually putting together a magical task force to try to help the police solve some of the more unexplained things in the city. And
how does the Order feel about that?
I don't think the two are incompatible.
All right. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just didn't know.
I mean, I figured the order can use the help, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's why I recruited the Tree Gang at some point, is because, yeah, I think they could. Because we don't really know the scope that the Muellers are, like, working within, but somehow I think it's more than 5 people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But I was actually, I was looking to see if I could get a letter of recommendation from you.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much it'll mean, but sure. My last interaction with Day was not stellar.
I mean, I still think she respects you.
I hope so, but yeah, sure.
And then I punch him in the face. No.
Who would like to go next?
I can go again. So this is going to be pretty short, but this is my solo bit tonight. This is going to be putting attention towards my siren theme. So now that finances aren't going to be as big of an issue, Darling is going back to explore some of those more violent tendencies she seemed to have at the end of our casino arc. She's going to be picking up a lot of the extra, how do I say shifts, but whatever Tanner is sending the Tree Gang to do, she's going along with that, hoping that there's going to be some punching to do along with that. And also just going with some of her other Order friends whenever she has the opportunity.
All right. She is able to get, with having an in with Tanner and an in with Order, both of those things are easy enough to accomplish.
Yeah, she's feeling very punchy.
Darling's especially good at helping put down roots in the Tree Gang's operations, since she has ins with a lot of clubs, or at least knows where they are in a way that even Tanner isn't aware of, even though he was a cop and a detective and would go to frequent these places. You kind of know the circuit a little bit more than he does and how to navigate that aspect.
I think she's also, and correct me if you think otherwise, Cody, I think she's probably acting a lot as a right-hand man in this operation, since she does have powers that allow her to be very convincing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So convincing those speakeasy owners that she's a good salesperson.
Yeah, right. Because, like, Tanner doesn't always come across real well, so having someone that, like, is great at pushing emotions would be a really, like, solid way to get a sale. So definitely.
All right, Tanner. Oh, you've had both your scenes. You're done.
Yep. I was like, I've talked so much. I don't know. I didn't have anything else.
Johnsons are done. Check us off.
Okay.
Well, Cody's not done. He's in Caitlin's scene too, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can do mine.
Tanner, you're on deck. So, Faye, what are you doing?
So, Faye, she did a lot of shapeshifting last arc and wants to continue running with that. And one avenue that she hasn't really pursued is shape-shifting into people much younger than her. So she's going to meet up with Runa at the Mystical Grove and just talk with her and explain, I feel like I should get good at shape-shifting into people who look really different than me, people younger than me. Like you. And so I was hoping you could maybe teach me a few things about like how to impersonate you, for example.
Well, I don't know. It's hard. To impersonate me, you have to pretend you're Tanner's best friend. Closest confidant.
Oh, all right. There's more.
Right. I like hard-boiled eggs. Those are yummy. I always tell the truth. I like flower dresses. Those are nice. I got a lot more since I've been here. So have you see how my wardrobe? Oh, you didn't know, all the time I knew Tanner, I was just in the same outfit because I was kind of a ghost. Woo.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just practice, and then you can tell me what looks like you, what doesn't look like you. So they like go back and forth, and Runa's like, "Oh, I don't walk like that."
Yeah,
you know?
she gives you good advice on like how to or like shows you like, well, like this, and you're like, oh, okay, I did that, you know, like,
yeah,
but it wasn't quite right, you know, and she's just like, no, like this.
Mm-hmm.
Can I call you my sister now? Are we like twins? Is that what happens? I mean, you look exactly like me. That's what twins are. People who look similar, right?
Well, Runa, that's kind of accurate, I guess. We could be sisters if you want. I've never had a sister.
Me neither.
Runa, how would you feel about doing a little test drive with this new ability?
Well, I'm only 10, and Tanner says I can't drive until I'm 16.
Oh, no, it was just a figure of speech. Why don't we practice a little magic trick? And she like whispers to her.
Okay. That sounds a lot of fun. Let's do it.
Okay. So Faye shapeshifts into Runa and comes into the mystical grove where Tanner is, and comes up to him and tugs on his sleeve and is like, Tanner, I have something to show you.
All right. What's up, Runa? What do you need?
I have a magic trick.
All right.
Are you ready? Okay. So I've been living at the Mystical Grove for a while, and I've discovered that they have a magic closet.
All right.
And it's only people who are very magical can use it, and they can teleport.
Did you find a broom closet?
Well, I mean, it looks like a broom closet on the outside, but it's a magical closet.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ready? I'll show you. And now for my first trick, I will teleport. So she goes over to the broom closet, like in the area, bows, closes the door, and steps inside the closet.
So after a few seconds, you see Runa bounding in from the front door. Hi, Tanner. Do you like my magic trick?
I mean, Runa, I don't know how to tell you this, but you know that you frequently would disappear and reappear in other places.
But not since I've been not a ghost.
So can you do that now? Is this like a... Are you gonna start doing that again? Are you gonna start doing that again now? Because if you are, we need to talk about, like, office hours when you're allowed to do that. It's not all the time.
No, I don't think I can. It's only through the magic closet, which only the most magical people should do. So you should try it.
I don't know that I want to get in a closet that you have decided is magical.
Don't you want to, like, brawl like a giant or something like that? If anything bad happens, you can just do that.
Do you want me to punch the closet? You know what, Runa? Fine. No, it's okay, Runa. We'll do it. All right, where's the magic closet? Give me the tutorial.
You just walk in, and if you're magical enough, it will work.
Okay, Tanner opens the door to the closet, and I guess sees other Runa in there.
No, he doesn't see anything.
Oh, right, because you could shapeshift, right. Tanner just, like, gets in the closet, closes the door, and then just, like, slides out a mop bucket, sits down on it, and opens the paper.
Oh, so time passes, and have you disappeared, Tanner?
No, I'm just catching up on the comics. How are you doing, Runa?
She opens the door.
Yeah. I'm doing fine. I thought you were magic. You should really focus on your magic, Tanner.
You know, Runa, I think if I do, I'll literally lose the last shred of humanity I have left to me and fully become a deity at this point. So I'm not sure if I should, Runa. I don't know if that's the solid play right now.
You got this. Bye. Closes the door.
Tanner pushes the door open. Runa, could you bring me, like, a very large cup of coffee? Thank you.
She just sticks it out.
Great, thanks,
So
Runa.
He steps out to grab the coffee, and then when he whips around, Faye is right there and goes, boo.
Tanner just, like...
As herself.
Tanner just kind of looks at Faye, looks at Runa, and goes, "You know, it wasn't funny to make me think she was going to start appearing at random again."
I thought it was funny.
I disagree. And she high-fives Runa.
We're sisters now.
I mean, okay. Great. I'm glad that you are making friends. Just please don't start randomly appearing in my life constantly without telling me first, please.
Don't worry, Tanner. You're still my best friend.
Okay. It feels, just so you know, Runa, like you shouldn't, like, qualify your friends in front of your friends.
Oh, Faye knows this. We're sisters.
All right.
It's a different bond. You don't understand because you're not my sister. You're my best friend.
All right. Okay. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna keep reading my paper, and Tanner gets back in the closet and just kind of closes it and just keeps reading.
Perfect.
All right, that leaves Seamus.
Yes, I guess that first thing, I assume that's to replace my theme. That's the idea with that first.
If you want
scene,
that to be a
right?
focal point of your character.
Yeah, I figured that'd be the thing to
It
do.
feels like it makes logical sense, you know? You're trading a firearm with, like, mythical firepower.
Yeah, yep. And would this be my +1 or my +2 scene that's
I think
left?
it's a +2. We've been so loosey-goosey, it's whichever you'd prefer.
Right. I mean, I could level up my uncanny instinct again.
It's uncanny how much this is leveling up. All
Okay,
right.
I think I have an idea. Okay, I actually think that this could tie into his work with the task force.
Okay.
As he is starting to work with the task force, and going out and solving these mysteries, these magical mysteries, he starts to get a little better at, like, identifying the important clue, like identifying important signs, identifying important clues, and I was wanting to add, once per scene you get one free clue.
So yeah, with your work with going through police training and all of that, you get, like, you pick up tips and tricks that you hadn't known before, and things become a little bit easier for you to see. You know, like, you're able to, like, know what to look for a little bit better instead of just completely relying on your riff radar. You're being able to pick up, like, clues and other leads that you had not seen previously, and it's enlightening in a way that you feel like you leveled up.
Ta-da!
So as we wrap up, after a pretty exciting case, Seamus finds himself drinking in a bar. That's something you do, right?
Yeah.
When a beer slid over to you, and you see Lucia sit down next to you.
Oh, well, this is a surprise.
Well, I mean, I didn't expect you to do my job for me, so I figured I'd give you one on the house. Also, I kind of run this thing. Well, I don't run it, but I know where to get more beer. It's not really an issue for me to get a free one every now and then, you know?
I see.
You know I work with the bootleggers,
Yeah,
Seamus.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I get you.
You seem confused by this.
Well, I mean, I guess I was imagining you run this particular bar.
No, I mean, like, we supply it.
Oh, okay.
Also, they're kind of afraid of...
You say we did your job for you, huh?
You got rid of that annoying gang, the old gods or something like that is what they were calling themselves?
Was that what their name was? We never actually knew what their name was.
Yeah, you guys kind of, like, punch first, ask question second, so...
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't have to really get my hands dirty.
Well, except for Zadok.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't really a loss. He wasn't really hard to kill.
I'm still not quite sure why you jumped in there.
I mean, I was coming there to get rid of him one way or the other, so I figured I'd help you guys out. And then you guys did me a solid. And I had to pay you back for that very nice coin machine you gave to us.
Yeah. Not the greatest moment in my career, letting that get away.
Hey, we appreciate your contributions to the bootleggers.
Well, at least you seem to be being smarter with it than old Felix Ortman. I haven't been hearing about a bunch of people dying in mysterious circumstances lately.
Well, we didn't get all of the stuff that was doing it because, you know, the woman that was amping it up seems to be much more wary of being kidnapped a second time.
I wonder why.
You know, you wonder. Also, do you really think the Muellers are con men like Felix?
You know, to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about the Muellers.
There's a reason, and we're gonna keep it that way. She takes a sip of her drink.
We'll see. And he's been drinking the one that she gave him. Like, she could poison him, but...
Make a Constitution saving throw. Crit success. Cool. You die.
Crit fail, no.
So you guys chat for a while and just talk about stuff without, like, really revealing any information about any implicating information on either side. Like, you're both playing that chess game of trying to get each other to reveal information, but you're both kind of half-heartedly playing it. And as the night goes on, you find yourselves enjoying each other's company and aren't, like, you know, you make your, like, token moves to be, like...
jabs. Yeah, we make our, like, banter at each other and our jabs, but not actually, like, serious.
Well, Seamus, it's about time I get going. It was a lovely evening, unless you have something else you'd like to do.
It was fun chatting with you, Lucy. I'm pleasantly surprised.
I mean, I can be enjoyable from time to time. I'm not always working. Just most of the time.
Yeah, we should do this more often.
Well, next time you scratch my back, maybe I'll get you another drink.
Sounds like a plan.
Lucia is once again at the office of the Muellers, where she enters and sees both of them sitting there. Report, one of the brothers says, "Well, it seems that the Herman is gone, but Detective Tanner has assumed control of the Tree Gang." The Mueller brothers take a second to think, and then respond, "Well, then it looks like it's time to put an end to the Order and Tanner once and for all." Hey Wanderers, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Naptown Chronicles. If you want to hear more content from the Wandering Gamer Network, you can check out the Wandering Gamer Network website. We also post Let's Plays that we do on YouTube under the channel Wandering Gamer Network. On Twitch, we can be found at wandering_gamer_network, and you can follow us on Twitter at the WGN Podcast. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. The intro and outro music was composed by Caitlin Balgman, who voices Faye in this podcast. All other music is openly licensed or in the public domain. Now, sleeper, it is time to rest. And remember, it is the gods who envy us.